Right now, I don't think the St. Louis Blues are a playoff team, and I'm going to tell you why.
Hey, this is Brain Chen. Subscribe to Lock On Blues.
You're Locked On Blues, your daily podcast on the St. Louis Blues. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome back to Locked On Blues. I'm your host of Locked On Blues, Haley Taylor Simon, talking to you all things about our St. Louis Blues here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today on Locked On Blues, I'm going to talk to you about why I don't think the Blues are a playoff team as of now. I want to talk about how the Blues are playing better. And yes, there is still a big focus on the upcoming Olympics because that is in the horizon. So we have that to talk about too. We have a lot going on today's episode of Locked On Blues, but I want to let you know that today's episode of Locked On Blues is brought to you by FanDuel. If you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL Live bets all season long. So, starting off, first and foremost, I hope everybody is having a good Tuesday, December 9th today. I want to say this. Every single person is entitled to their own opinions when it comes to the St. Louis Blues. I'm just opening up a conversation that you and I can have, but you don't have to agree with me, and I don't have to agree with you. But what I am going to do is I am going to let you know why I feel a certain way. Because there was a really interesting post on NHL Media on Instagram, and this is from Mike Kelly, and it says, the St. Louis Blues, I think they're going to be a playoff contender. I simply commented no. 2 letters, 1 word, no. And I got a comment saying that I am the host of this podcast, which I am, and that I shouldn't have said that. And I said, I don't feel good about what I'm seeing. The past 2 games were good, but I need consistency. We also have Jordan Kyrou, who is now out too. And then I got told that my eyes are playing tricks on me and that I think everything is bad. And I did not think that everything is bad. And I said I never said that. So being said, I had a little bit of a Twitter beef today, or Instagram beef. Usually it's Twitter beef. But I want to go back on that because I think it's really easy for anybody to get all excited again about their team. Yes, I know that the Blues are very close to 500. And again, it just goes to show that right now, the West, I mean, it's not so good. I mean, you look at both the Central and the Pacific, not so good. But what's interesting about this, right, is that we're ignoring the fact in this conversation that Jordan Kyrou is going to be day to day. While he, yes, avoids serious injury, I mean, week to week, he was going to be day to day. Now it's week to week. But that's still a concern not to have him in the lineup, right? And I think that it's not fair for me as the host of this podcast to say, yes, I feel confident that this is a playoff team when they haven't shown me that. And I said I want to see more consistency. I think if they played the way that they did against the 2 Canadian teams, Ottawa and Montreal, I would feel a lot better about the Blues going forward and maybe having that conversation. And we'll talk about it, don't worry. But right now, in this moment, I don't see the Blues in the playoffs. And I don't get how that is me being a bad host. I don't get how that's me not representing our fan base. I don't get that because it's my opinion. It's like, I don't know if anybody knows that meme where it's like, that's my opinion. But it's literally my opinion. And this season, I haven't really seen much good. I've seen a lot of bad, right? But I haven't seen much good. And this season's just been so disappointing for all of us, for me, for you, and even for the players on the team. And I mean, right now, this is a team, as I said, that's nearing that 500. They're sitting right now at a 483 win percentage. So again, right below 500. It's still not great on the power play, only 19%. PK is better at 77%. But I mean, right now, Offense with goals scored, they're in the bottom third. Defense with goals against, also in the bottom. And this is what I'm saying. It's, if you want me to say, based on no facts, no stats, and make up something to make you feel happy, of course I can say, yeah, this is a playoff team. The reality is they're not at the moment. And they're not going to be until they prove that they are. And Braden Shen said something really interesting last season. I had to go back on my notes, and I did a lot of research on today's episode because I had to go back and listen to a few things. So at the end of the season pressers from last season, after that disappointing Game 7 double OT loss, yep, that did happen, in the first round of the playoffs to the Winnipeg Jets, Braden Shen said, we're not a playoff contending team until we're in the playoffs and we're contending. And the reason why I bring that up right now is because I think that we are looking for something positive, right? We're looking for something to believe in because how bad and how frustrating this season has been. And I get it because I have been thinking about the draft. That's my happy place. If I'm frustrated, I just think draft, I think prospects, and I'm solid. I'm good. But I think with these 2 games over the weekend, yeah, did it give us some false hope? And I'm going to say absolutely because, again, we haven't seen Binnington have that great of a season. Joel Hofer has been improving, but it's not consistent. And I'm filming this during the Boston game. I'm doing both because, again, I'm a multitasking queen. That I know, lame. And the Blues had a 1-0 lead at the end of the first because of Robert Thomas. And then now at the end of the second, the Bruins were able to make it 2-1. And Hofer, I mean, he's had some amazing saves, but right now, with only a couple minutes remaining in the second, the Bruins have 24 shots on goal compared to the Blues' 13. So, oh, and I did predict the correct goalies, by the way. But the point that I'm trying to make is, and that I'm trying to explain as best as I can, is that the defense needs work. The offense needs work. Both of the goalies need to prove that they can be more consistent. I just feel like it's so irresponsible to have me saying something positive because you would want it to be a different scenario. I mean, I'm looking at these comments. Other people agree with me. Oh my gosh. Wait, what are people? Some of you were kind of delusional about, like, actually thinking that. Belief is a powerful thing. If this team believes they will be a playoff team. That's not how it works. I'm sorry, it's not. Yeah, I don't believe that this group of guys is going to get the Blues to the playoffs. Again, this is my team. I want them to go to the playoffs, okay? But it's more of a prove me wrong at the moment. That's the mentality. I have a really difficult time understanding how we can think so irresponsibly, okay? Because we know the facts of the season. They're ranking in the worst of the worst when it comes to all the different, stats, whether it's goals against, whether it's goals this season, all of it. And people have the audacity to say, all this team needs to do is believe in themselves. I think there's more fundamental issues that this team has other than that. Just a wild guess based off of how the season is going. But I mean, hey, if that's what you want to tell yourself to feel better, all to you, power to you. I mean, like, again, I'm not going to live in this state of delusion, but I don't say that to be condescending. I'm saying that because I don't get why I'm getting attacked for stating the obvious that this is not a playoff team. I don't know why that's a bad opinion. because I do a podcast. Doesn't make sense to me. However, the Blues, they are playing better hockey, so we're going to talk about that. And first, I'm going to talk about my friends over at FanDuel. NFL Sundays move fast. One big play, and suddenly everything feels different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds, every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. Live betting is best when the game starts to shift. A receiver gets hot, a defense tightens up, or the momentum flips after a turnover. FanDuel lets you jump into the moment. Live spreads and money adjust instantly. Player props update as the guys heat up. You can bet next touchdown scores, drive results, totals, and more. It keeps you locked into every snap, every drive, every possibility. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit fanduel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and so can you. The Blues are playing better. And by better, I mean not losing by a lot. They did have those 2 wins over the weekend to Ottawa and Montreal. Again, any win that the Blues get right now, I consider to be a big win. But this is because of a combination of things. This goes with the offense lighting up. We've seen Braden Shen step up big time. We've seen the 2 goalies with Joel Hofer and Jordan Binnington each in net. Hof against Ottawa and then Binnington against Montreal. We saw them have good games. But I want to remind you that just because we see a few good games doesn't necessarily mean that this team is back on track. They are getting better. They are playing better hockey. They still look a little tired to me in that final frame, and that's something that they really need to work on, is how to conserve their energy so that way they can have it fulfilled throughout the whole 60 minutes. But this is a team that is frustrating to watch defensively, and a team where you really have to rely on your goalkeeper to make sure that you're still alive. I mean, I compare hockey to football sometimes because in football, I always say defense wins games. In hockey, your goalie wins games. And I think that this was something that we got a little bit heated about in the playoffs last year when I said that goalies matter more than any other position in the playoffs. Some people said, your centers, your wingers, your blah, blah, blah. No, it's the goalie. Because at the end of the day, most of the time when it comes to playoff hockey, it's not these like high scoring games most of the time, right? So you have to make sure that your goalie is on it. However, in football, just hear my comparison. I always say the defense wins games because those are basically like the goalies. Because again, in football, they don't have like a goalie. So those are like your last line of defense. Like the secondary, that is like your last line of defense, right? In hockey, your defense and goalie are both doing the same job, which is trying to prevent the other team from scoring. Most of the time, you would have a few more defensemen actually helping out your goalie. Well, when it comes to the St. Louis Blues, guess what? Newsflash, you don't. They don't have that advantage. They don't have protection. And it really just goes down to, can Joel Hofer or Jordan Binnington make the saves? And I know that was a very dumbed down way of describing it to you, but that is how I envision it. Where it's like a team effort to make sure the puck doesn't go in net. And your goalie is like the last line of defense. But the other defensemen, they are also obviously a line of defense. I know. That was very dumbed down. Basically, our defensemen, almost all of them, like to play up. Okay. They can't get back in time, and it makes it very difficult for the goalie to have protection. Okay. That is a fair and accurate statement because that is literally what I am watching right now on my TV. as I am watching the Bruins really light up the Blues' defensive zone because, again, they don't get back in time. And then you're relying on your forwards to be defensemen in a sense. And it's so frustrating with how this game is. I mean, there's no reason for it in general. And it tires out the forwards, in my opinion, it does. Because they're doing a job that they shouldn't have to necessarily do. Like, there was no reason for Tyler Tucker to play as up as he is, but he is. And I'm not trying to hyper fixate on this game too much, as we're going to talk about it tomorrow. I just have it on so I can see it. But my main point is that while this team is playing better, do I think it's enough for them to be on a hot streak, on a run? I don't think so. I think that there's too many fundamental issues. I think that, again, with now Jordan Kyrou week to week, also an issue. And I am truly concerned about the state of this team. I think that this is a team that needs to have it blown up. I think you need to sell at the deadline or prior to the deadline, and you need to make moves because right now it's not working. I mean, I just saw Jake Neighbors miss a wide open net. Like, something's not clicking with this team. And I love Jake, and I'm not trying to call him out. I'm just like saying, like, something's not clicking. And I don't know necessarily what's wrong with it. I think actually Justin Folk has been playing better, so I'll give him credit. I know I'm a little bit hard on him sometimes, and by sometimes I mean like all the time. But I can't blame one player for countless mistakes, turnovers, and not getting back in time, and all of it. It's such a frustrating game of hockey to watch. And I just want so desperately for the Blues to finally have something in them that's going to snap. Or they're going to come out of this funk and they're going to play the game that we all expected them to play. And I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen. And that's what concerns me. Because right now, this is a team that, in my opinion, might be one of the first teams eliminated from the playoffs. Okay? That's the reality. And I know what you're saying, Haley. It's December. What do you mean? Well, I want to remind you that while, yes, the Blues, I guess, we'll go over it actually right now because you're going to see how goofy this is. It's because the West, they all suck. Okay? The East is the better conference this year. The West sucks. I feel like sometimes it flip-flops, but man, this year, the West, I mean, it's been some horrible hockey. And I remember a couple of years ago, I'm like, there's no way the West will ever be like the worst of the two. Well, it is now. And I don't know why my stat is not loading, which I have like my stat sheets that I put up prior to filming. That way I have something to reference when I am going on my little bit of rants, but it's fine. I don't have the stats that I want, but right now the Blues, again with those 29 points, rank second to last in the Central. And if you were to compare the Blues and put them into the Pacific with the 29 points, they would actually be bottom four, which is crazy. But I mean, I'm telling you, like, the Kraken are on a 6-game losing streak right now. 6-game losing streak. That is insane. I mean, all of these teams have been struggling tremendously. But you know what team actually is like mind-boggling to me? The Winnipeg Jets. I said I didn't think they were going to make the playoffs this year. That was my hot take. And right now they're losing to Dallas. But I mean, the Oilers demolished them like 6-2. I mean, like, it is not good for Winnipeg. So I know that's a little bit off track, but I just want to say that if the Blues are going to miss out, then so should the Jets because That was painful, and all the Jets fans that were in my messages being like, hey, 1.7 seconds. Yeah, that's karma. Before I talk about the Olympics, something that we can all agree on, hopefully, I want to talk to you about my friends over at Gametime. The World Cup is coming back to North America for the first time since 1994. And with 48 teams for the first time ever, it's going to be massive. But let's be honest, getting tickets is usually the hardest part. That's why the Gametime app is clutch, finally giving fans a real advantage when it comes to snagging seats. With Gametime, you can track price drops in real time, get alerts when great seats open, and buy tickets the moment they hit the app. It puts the power back in your hands. It makes going to the World Cup realistic instead of impossible. One thing that I love about Gametime so much is that I can pick a game and I can tap a section and I can have my tickets locked in just minutes with no confusion and no hunting through the fine print. This seat view feature is a game changer. I highly recommend this because you can literally see what the pitch looks like from your exact seat right before you buy it. And prices include fees are up front, which I love because you know how much you're paying and there's no surprises at checkout. Alerts for teams and matches make it so easy to grab tickets the moment they drop instead of missing out. Take the guesswork out of buying World Cup tickets and match, concert, or event tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, download the app, make an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go, Gametime. The Olympics are approaching, and there's some really interesting news kind of today circulating some of the stuff about the Olympics. I guess I'll be doing some like Olympic updates every so often as Dougie A is the GM for Team Canada. So I feel like we kind of have a little bit of an inside when it comes to the Olympics now because of Dougie A. But it says NHL players will not take part in the 2026 Olympics in Italy if the quality of ice is not good enough, says Deputy Commissioner Bill Daly. But he remains cautiously optimistic and issues will be resolved in time. Stars from the North America, so stars from, the NHL and all over, not KHL, OHL, WHL, all the different leagues, right? Not KHL. Are set to compete in Milan this upcoming, winter. For the first appearance since 2014. I know, crazy. But there are doubts about the size and quality of ice, where the construction is still not finished despite the game starting on February 6th. Matches will also be held at Milano Row Arena. If the ice is unplayable, the ice is unplayable, Daly said. I don't want to be flip about it. We probably will know in advance of the official start of the games. What you do at that point becomes a different issue. Obviously, if the players feel the ice is unsafe, we're not going to play. It's as simple as that. The rink in Milan, approved by the International Hockey Federation, is shorter than the minimum requirement in the NHL, leading to suggestions that there could be an increase in high-speed collisions. The NHL Players Association did say on Saturday that their concerns were more about the quality of ice rather than the size. And a quote from Daly again, we have offered and they're utilizing our ice experts and technicians and outside providers. We're basically moving everybody there to try to help get it done in a way that's acceptable for NHL athletes. And I'm cautiously optimistic it will be fruitful. So that was AOL. I'm looking at the picture right now. Yeah, it's like not even close to being done. So my question is, what if they can't play the Olympics? Like, that's kind of crazy. I think it will be done, but at the same time, like, you do need the ice to be safe. And when I saw that today, my first thought was, shouldn't they have like planned this out? Because you know when the Olympics are going to be. It's not like it's a new like set of timeline. Like, we know when the Winter Olympics are going to be. So I don't know what's up with that. But right now it's December 9th, and the games are going to be beginning in less than 2 months. And you don't even know if your ice is good enough. Like, that's an actual issue. And you can't make any excuses for that. That is unacceptable. So I kind of feel like at the end of the day, it is what it is, but just so you're aware, you may not even have known about this, that the ice for the Olympics may not even be playable, which is so crazy when you think about it. So I'll talk to you about the Bruins game tomorrow and so much more. And like always, let's go Blues.